I've just been reading M Scott Peck's book, The Road Less Travelled, and he's talking about depression. And it's interesting because he's talking about depression as being a natural part of life and a part of one's spiritual growth and evolution. Because he points out that as one grows, one has to give up certain things. And he makes a very good example. He says how he loves winning at games and winning at chess. And one night he wants to play his daughter at chess, and she wants him to hurry his moves because it's getting past her bedtime and she wants to go to bed. And he refuses to hurry because he wants to win the game. And his daughter in the end basically throws down the chessboard and says, "I don't want to play this stupid game," and rushes off to bed. And it's only then that Scott Peck realises what a silly boy he's been, and he realises to be a good parent he's going to have to give up his almost obsessive need to win at games. And he points out this makes him depressed, and that depression is a big part of growing up and spiritual evolution. And here we go, I'm going to read now some of it, and this is just beyond the point where he talks about his daughter. So he says, the foregoing is a minor example of what those people with the courage to call themselves patients must go through, in more major ways and often many times in the process of psychotherapy. The period of intensive psychotherapy is a period of intensive growth, during which the patient may undergo more changes than some people experience in a lifetime. For this growth spurt to occur, a proportionate amount of the old self must be given up. It is an inevitable part of successful psychotherapy. In fact, this process of giving up usually begins before the patient has his first appointment with the psychotherapist. Frequently, for instance, the act of deciding to seek psychiatric attention in itself represents a giving up of a self-image. I'm okay. This giving up may be particularly difficult for males in our culture, for whom I'm not okay and I need assistance to understand why I'm not okay and how to become okay is frequently and sadly equated with I'm weak, unmasculine and inadequate. Actually, the giving up process often begins even before the patient has arrived at the session to seek psychiatric attention. I mentioned that during the process of giving up my desire to always win, I was depressed. This is because the feeling associated with giving up giving up something loved, or at least something that is part of ourselves and familiar, is depression. Since mentally healthy human beings must grow, and since, I've got to turn the page, yes, that's where, and since giving up or loss of the old self is an integral part of the process of mental and spiritual growth, depression is a normal and basically healthy phenomena. It becomes abnormal or unhealthy only when something interferes with the giving up process, with the result that the depression is prolonged and cannot be resolved by completion of the process. Now, there's a footnote and it says this: there are many factors that can interfere with the giving up process and therefore prolong a normal, healthy depression into chronic pathological depression. Of all the possible factors, one of the most common and potent is a pattern of experience in childhood wherein parents or fate, unresponsive to the needs of the child, took away things from the child before he or she was psychologically ready to give them up or strong enough to truly accept their loss. Such a pattern of experience in childhood sensitizes the child to the experience of loss and creates a tendency far stronger than that found in more fortunate individuals to cling to things and seek to avoid the pain of loss or giving up. For this reason, although all pathological depressions involve some blockage in the giving up process, I believe there is a type of chronic neurotic depression that has as its central root a traumatic injury to the individual's basic capacity to give up anything. And to this subtype of depression, I would apply the name giving up neurosis. Now, the reason I read this to you is because if I were, or anyone else were to go to the doctor and say, "Doctor, I'm depressed," what would he do? He'd give you some tablets, wouldn't he? Because in this quick fix society, that's what they always do. Because, why? Because we are morons. Yes, human beings are cretins. Don't do it. Don't be fooled. Don't take the quick fix. Don't take the drugs. Find out what it's about and address it. Here endeth the lesson.